is a view out of the SM Nader window on the starboard side, looking at our Soyuz. It's the first Soyuz TMA, a specially modified Soyuz that was paid for partially with American funding so that we could expand the range of crew members who can fit inside the Soyuz. The Soyuz is always parked at the SO. It has been since we arrived, and it's always ready in case we need to jump in and head home. Soyuz has three major sections. The first part is the Bitovoy Otsek Russian, or the habitation module in American. It's a place for the crew to live and work. It gives them a little extra volume to move around in while they're waiting to rendezvous with the station and on their way home if they're delayed on entry. Connected to that is the Spuskymi apparatus, the SA, or descent module. It's a bell-shaped module with a heat shield on the back that lands by parachute. Both of those modules are covered with a thermal insulation right now. That's that brown fabric on the outside that will rip away when the modules separate during entry, leaving the heat shield behind. And then at the very bottom, the white area where the solar arrays are attached is the instrument module. That contains a lot of the computer gear used for ascent. It also contains maneuvering rockets for the rendezvous and for the de-orbit burn on entry. And Houston, are you getting decent video here?
Sox, we're getting beautiful video.
Great. Well, we still have about a month and a half to go, so there's a lot of things that we're trying to catch up on before we leave. One is photography. We're trying to take pictures of all the different scenes on Earth that we haven't managed to cover in our first 4 months here. We're also trying to soak in as much of that view as we can with our eyes. So we're packing up gear to be returned home aboard shuttles when they start flying again. That gear will go into little cases like this called a CTB, and we'll mark it with a green tag, probably with our name on it, so people know where to put it, where to send it when it gets back. We're also organizing the gear that we're leaving behind for the crews that follow us. Here we're setting aside extra personal equipment that they might need in a special bag that we'll stow in the overhead in the node, a second crew equipment bag. We're also taking extra food and drinks that they might want. Here in this bag, we've got a bunch of extra U.S. drinks that we've sort of saved up over the last few months. Another thing that's very popular with crew members are sweets, and so we have a bag dedicated to that. The extra chocolate bag. We've had a special request from one of the crew members that will be manning station here over the next year to make sure we leave all of our chocolate rather than throwing it away. So any extra chocolate that didn't get eaten went inside that bag. We're also trying to leave the lab in as good a shape as we can for payload operations. Don's been working really hard to get the glove box ready to go. There have been a lot of troubleshooting activities organized by the folks at Marshall and the European Space Agency, and we think the glove box is good to go. We'll be starting experiment ops here the last month or so of our increment and leave some for the next cruise. Nikolai's also closing out the experiment ops in the service module. Here he's topping off a water tank for one of the plant growth experiments. He'll leave behind a lot of equipment for the follow-on crews to work on in their spare time. Part of preparing for heading home is also checking out your gear. we'll be checking out our local suits to make sure that they're still in good shape. Right now, they're stowed inside the O of the Soyuz, which you'll see later when I give you some internal video. But we brought one of the suits up to kind of show you the components here inside the service module where the lighting's a little bit better. It's a great suit with a big opening that helps you don it really fast. And then it can be sealed up with those zippers there in the front and some rubber bands that tie off the entry opening. The big blue knob in the front is the regulator for setting the suit pressure. You can see the hoses on the side for oxygen and cooling. The gloves are tucked there in pockets on the legs, and we'll pull those out, don the gloves before actually heading home. We spent a lot of time in Star City training before the mission, but that training was 6 months or so ago now. So we'll have some refresher training to do over the next month and a half or so. We'll pull out the flight documentation and go through it. We'll also, right before entry, have to enter a lot of the parameters that will be used for our particular entry, times and the amount of fuel that we'll use, all the parameters for the deorbit burn.